All right, so look, today's video, I want to talk about the 5 things that we missed about John Cena's heel turn. All right, so the first thing that I want to talk about is actually not related to wrestling at all. It's actually Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast. About a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, John Cena actually went onto Logan Paul's podcast, and the interview or the sit down between the two was actually really, really good. Like, it was a really good podcast. The thing about it is they actually talked about John Cena's career, the things that he's done, and where he sees himself in the future. And in this podcast, he did say that he's seen a couple more years on his run.
2,000 years later.
He wasn't indicating when exactly he was going to be done. He just indicated that it was done. Or it was leading up to being done. Excuse me. So John Cena goes on this podcast and he says, I have a couple more years. Now, keep in mind, this was about a year ago. You can't necessarily indicate exactly when, John Cena will be done. And I think this podcast is a great example of that, because in this podcast, he's indicating that he has a couple or a few more years, excuse me, left on his run. And then following up, I want to talk about the next point is actually the announcement of the quote unquote farewell tour. If you guys remember, the announcement took place at Money in the Bank 2024. It took place in Toronto, Canada, of all places, which, remember Toronto, Canada. We're gonna really get to that in a second. So he announces the farewell tour in Toronto, Canada at Money in the Bank. And a lot of people at the time speculated like, oh, he's gonna come out, he's gonna announce that maybe Canada is getting a big PLE like a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania or something like that. And that doesn't happen. He says, hey, I'm done. This next year is going to be my final year. This is all I got left in me, etc., etc. So John Cena announces in Toronto that he is done. He's going on this farewell tour. Okay. So let's get to the next point. The Raw on Netflix, John Cena comes out and he just kind of gives like a little hoorah speech. Very corporate. You want to know who else came out that night and gave a little hoorah speech? The Rock. The Rock actually came out later that night and gave a hoorah speech. Now, one of the big things after that was that John Cena wasn't showing up to dates. It's like, man, you're going to retire this year, but you're only showing up once a month. You're not showing up to the Royal Rumble, and then the Royal Rumble takes place, and then you don't show up to the Chamber. Like, a lot of things kind of tie in here. So John Cena is not even showing up at his own goddamn farewell tour. So this guy is going on a quote-unquote farewell tour, but he is not showing up to the shit. He's not even being present. Well, that doesn't sound like a farewell tour to me, because a farewell tour, I think of Kobe Bryant. God rest his soul. Kobe Bryant's farewell tour, I mean, in every single city that he went to and he played a ball game in, they gave him a video package. They talked about his rivalries with said city. Big sports guy here. Kobe Bryant went on a farewell tour because we all knew that Kobe Bryant was one of the biggest legends. The guy was one of the greatest basketball players of all time. So when he retired and he goes on this farewell tour, it's amazing. And then that final night drops 82 or whatever I think it was 62, excuse me. Drops 62 for Shaq. Getting off topic here. Kobe went on a farewell tour. What Cena's felt like was, well, I'm just going to say it and then we'll just do it, I guess. Okay. So let's fast forward. After the Raw on Netflix, let's fast forward to the Royal Rumble. So John Cena, he's one of the last people in the Royal Rumble with Jey Uso, and they go on, and Jey Uso ultimately wins the Royal Rumble. Hey, that's cool. John Cena gets in the ring with him, gives him a hug, whatever. feels very normal of John Cena to do. That's definitely something John Cena would do. He would congratulate his opponent, especially somebody who, like Jey Uso, is so deserving of it currently. So fast forward to the press conference. John Cena sits at a press conference for the Royal Rumble after losing. And he says that after 23 years of loyal service to this company, I now deserve. I am entering into the Elimination Chamber. I am now going to say that I am going to win my 17th championship, and I am going to main event WrestleMania, my final WrestleMania. Again, hey, very John Cena, right? That feels like John Cena. That feels like the John Cena that we know. Added a little aggression to it. We needed that. But it felt like John Cena. Nothing felt off about that. I think CM Punk said it best on Monday. He said, I thought your past service to this company secured your future, which all of us, I think, would agree. Many people years ago would boo Cena or they'd cheer him, whatever the case was. But now we're at a point to where people just kind of cheer Cena because it's like, hey, dude, we just respect you in the things that you've done. We're just beyond appreciative of the things that you've done. Okay, great. Hey, John Cena's in the Elimination Chamber. Well, maybe he's going to lead up to the Elimination Chamber, right? Maybe he'll make a Raw appearance or something along those lines. No, that was not the case. We literally did not see John Cena till the Elimination Chamber. I believe he went back to Africa, or I can't necessarily remember exactly where he was, but he ended up going somewhere to film. So, John Cena shows up at the Elimination Chamber. And this is where I want to tie back in Toronto, Canada. The night that John Cena turned heel was in Toronto, Canada. And it was in the same place that he announced his farewell tour. Call me crazy. Call me insane. I remember somebody else announced that they were going to retire and ultimately turned heel. That person was Mark Henry, if you guys remember that situation. I am in full belief. Call me crazy. You can call me whatever the fuck you need to call me. Call me crazy. That what we may be getting is not an actual farewell tour. We might be seeing a couple years of this Cena. Because when I think of a heel, the most heel thing to do, because you have to remember, this plays all the way back into a podcast. This whole thing started because of a podcast where he said, I have a couple more years left. He didn't say I have one more year left. He said, I have a couple more years left. John Cena is 47 years old. We've never known how long John Cena is going to go. John Cena lost these numerous amounts of matches, 2,000 days since I won a match, whatever the fuck. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, the most heel thing that you can do is announce a farewell tour, not show up to that farewell tour, turn heel, and then go on a run. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I just don't necessarily understand, especially with the long-term booking that involves Triple H, that if they could tell this story in such a quick amount of time. I understand that people want to believe like, oh, he'll snap out of it after, this, that, and the third. No, if you looked at John Cena's face, you could tell that man, he has no soul left. That shit is gone. John Cena now hates the fan. He despises you. Whether you like to believe it or not, John Cena hates you. He hates everything that you stand for as a fan. And the one thing that you could do to really show that you hate somebody is make them a believer. John Cena made you believe that he was going on a farewell tour. He made you believe it. He wanted you to feel like you were going on a farewell tour. And that this guy, you are going to congratulate him for all the accomplishments. When that's not the case. No. Because now, in wrestling storyline, You are supposed to hate John Cena. And you are supposed to hate every single thing about that gentleman. I know a lot of you don't, but that's what it's supposed to be. That's the point of this heel turn. So when I talk about these bulletin points that we missed, it all falls down on the heel turn. The one way to get a fan to buy in is to make them a believer. The merchandise, the fucking waving of the hands, the announcements, that whatever. WWE just told you and could have possibly given you the biggest swerve of all time, and we were too blind to see it. WWE just told you that, hey, I know you're going to hate to hear this, but I think we got you. Now, all of this is just under the bias that, the ultimate heel turn could be doing something like this. March 17th, we're going to see John Cena and hopefully get some kind of answer. I highly doubt they'll do something like that, but just some kind of answer. Ultimately, this heel turn could be the biggest swerve in WWE history, in pro wrestling history. This farewell tour could be the biggest crock of shit that we've ever seen. Again, I'll leave that up for you guys to decide. It's a very interesting topic and a very interesting thing to discuss. But again, these are just bulletin points that I think that we missed leading up to this heel turn. But ultimately, you guys can let me know down in the comments section below. My name is Billy TKO. If you're new here, definitely be sure to like this video. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel. When you guys subscribe, we go to a different stratosphere. Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Discord, all linked down below for you guys to go check out. Other than that, I'll be talking to you later. Peace.